You're watching the Moto E7 Plus Disassembly. First, we need to remove the SIM tray. As you can see, there's a red rubber gasket around it. Now in order to pry the back housing off, there's catches all around. So in order to pry it off, we need to get a plastic pry tool in between the back housing and the frame of the screen. And then we're just going to run our pry tool along the edges and pop the catches off. Now once we pop those catches off, before we remove the back housing, there's still some adhesive around the fingerprint reader, as well as the camera lens over here. So you're going to have to gently heat it up with a hairdryer or a heat gun to loosen up the adhesive. And then we're going to push it on the fingerprint reader and separate it from the back housing. So we can separate it. So here's a look at the inside of the back housing. We have some graphite film over here, as well as some down here in the corner. And we also have some antenna flex cables on the top and bottom. And also, of course, it is plastic. Now back to the phone, we have two films we need to remove. We have one located over here and one over here. There's one also on the bottom portion of the phone that needs to be peeled off. There are 16 Phillips screws which need to be removed. Now once the screws are removed, we're going to lift up and remove the top plastic cover. Here's a better look at the top cover. Now we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery cable. And once the battery cable is disconnected, we can go ahead and disconnect the rest of the cables. There's a wire cable over here in the corner, just pop it off. There's a flex cable on the left side, which has a lock on the connector. Just pop the black lock up so it unlocks. Then we're going to gently lift it up and pull it out of the socket. We have some copper tape over here. We need to peel off. And now we can disconnect the front-facing camera. At this point, we have two Phillips screws which need to be removed so we can remove the main board. Here's a better look at the main board. Here's the headphone jack over here on top with a rubber gasket around it. And if you need to disconnect the cameras, just pop off the connectors. Here's the back side of the board. You have your SIM reader and memory card reader located over here. You have the connector for your other camera over here. And your proximity sensor and notification LED is located right there. Removing the shields on the back reveals some thermal pads on top of the chips. And the Qualcomm processor is located over here. Now as far as this phone goes, I don't really see any graphite film, copper, or any type of heat transfer tape underneath the board or on the mid-frame itself. Next, let's go ahead and remove the speaker assembly. Here's a better look at that. We have one wire cable here that needs to be disconnected. There's a flex cable here, just pop it off. And there's some strong adhesive underneath the charger port board, so we're going to have to pry that off. So here's your charger port board. You have your primary microphone located right here. Here's your charger port itself. And on the back side, you can see the adhesive. Moving on to the battery, there are plastic pull tabs all around, which are going to make it much easier to pry the battery off, but we're still going to have to apply some heat to make the job easier. So you can use a hairdryer or a heat gun to heat up the phone from the front side where the screen is, so you can loosen up the adhesive underneath the battery, and then you're going to pry the battery off using those pull tabs. So here's the front side of the battery. and here's the back. So at this point, you're left with the mid frame, your vibrator motor located over here, your earpiece speaker on top over here. You have this flex cable over here which connects your subboard to your main board, and you have your screen cable over here that's run through a slit over here in the mid frame. So if you had to replace the screen, all you'd have to do at this point is heat up the front of the phone where the screen is, and then you'd loosen up the adhesive which is underneath the screen. You'd pry your screen off the mid frame, making sure you run your screen cable through the slit over here in the mid frame. You'd get your new screen, run the cable back through, reapply the screen to the front of the mid frame, and reassemble your phone. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the phone back together. And once all the screws are back in place, reapply your back cover. And flip your phone over, power it on, and you're done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.